Hello everyone. In today's discussions, I will talk about the components that make up art. The components that go into making a piece of art are referred to as its elements, and they are comparable to the components that go into making a recipe. To put it another way, the elements of art are the foundational components of creative expression in the realm of the arts. Another analogy we could think of is that in chemistry, chemical elements like oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon are the building blocks of life. They are the smallest pieces of our universe that could have put everything together and created new things. There are 7 distinct elements to make up art, and you can think of this as its fundamental elements. These 7 elements are the foundation upon which everything else is built. When describing works of art and talking about other topics together, the vocabulary we will employ includes the following 7 words. The definitions and the comprehensions of those definitions, we should all be able to define and recognize the 7 elements. The first fundamental components of elements of every work of art is the line. A line is a path that is generated by a moving point mark or object. Lines can be straight, swirly, wavy, jagged, dotted, dashed, broken, and so on and so forth. You can get the idea. It could be curvy or it may be straight, and it should also be diagonal, vertical, or horizontal orientation, as well as a parallel, perpendicular, thick, or thin. So as you can see in our next examples, working with lines opens up a wide variety of creative possibilities. A shape is a two-dimensional, enclosed, flat region. When a line crosses over itself, it forms a shape. There are geometric shapes such as squares, triangles, circles, rectangles, and ovals. And there is also organic shapes that we can found in nature, like the leaf or the butterfly. Form is a shape that exists in all 3 dimensions. It is 3-dimensional, so in that it has height, width, and depth, and it is something that you could walk around. Cubes, cylinders, and spheres are all examples of forms that can be drawn in a flat surface. Shading and perspectives are 2 techniques that can be used to turn a flat shape into a form. The lightness or blackness of an object is defined as its value. A black and white object, as much as a colorful object, can have value. It is the result of light and shade. In a picture, some words to describe a value would be tint, which is when you add white to something so that it will make lighter, and shade, which is when you add black to something to make it darker. Color, often known as hue, can enhance the appeal and atmosphere of works of art. There are three main colors or primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, as well as secondary and tertiary colors. You can use either warm or cold colors if we're going to talk about color temperature. You can also utilize color to add focus or emphasis or interest to your work by tint lighter colors or shade darker colors. Texture is how something feels or looks like it would feel if you could touch it. There are two kinds of texture. A real texture is which would be like a sculpture, you could actually touch it. An implied texture, which is when an artist makes something look like it has textures even though you can't feel it. Space is an art element that refers to the emptiness or region around or within objects. Spacative space is the part of the artwork that occupies the space, whereas negative space is the region around that object. This art elements also refers to the many elements of an artwork, just as the foreground, middle ground, and background. Another technique to illustrate that there is space and dimension in an artwork is through perspective.